Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon, and we are here at another Sabbath. And what I like to say today is we're going to change our mode of prayer into a visual prayer mode. Basically, what that means is we're going to pray. You're going to pray with me, and I will guide you as to how to pray. And we'll try to practice this every week, so that we may understand how God uses us and how God works within us if we have the right attitude and the right mind to prayer. So we need to just remove ourselves from a God that lives up there in eternity and is unreachable and unknowable, and we can't touch him, we can't feel him. We really need to remove ourselves from that ideology or that idea that the world has placed, mostly all religious systems place that idea in you. And what that does, that removes God, makes him so far away that like he's totally unreachable, unknowable, and have no relationship with him. But we want to work with a God that not only is knowable, but is a one that has a relationship with us. So what we're going to do is, like I said, we'll practice this every week and we'll get it right. And here is what I like you to do is to follow me. So I want you to, if you're sitting up, sit upright. If you want to lie down, you can lie down and do it as well. Or you can sit comfortably in your couch or on a chair, and we can do this together, and we'll work the magic of how to pray and how to seek understanding, wisdom, prosperity, blessings from God. So I want you to, if you're sitting upright or if you're lying down, I want you to close your eyes, and if you're sitting, I want you to raise your head slightly. I want you to raise your head, because the psalmist says that I lift up my eyes. So lift up your head slightly, and if you're lying down, you would already be facing up, which is okay. And I want you to open your palms. I want you to have your palms in a receptive position, open palms, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to breathe in. We're going to breathe in and breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out. Imagine you're drawing your breath from your perineum all the way to your top of your head, maybe 6 inches above. So you take a deep breath in, hold it, and out. One more time. Hold your breath, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. Now you breathe normally and you repeat after me. Okay? With your eyes still closed, pointing slightly upwards, your palms facing upwards, and relax, and let's begin. I now cross out every idea of sickness for myself or anyone else. I am not interested in any sickness. I cross out any sickness out of my life. I cross out the idea of hatred. I give up all of my hurt. There is nothing in me to hate. God never put any hate in my heart. God only put love in my heart. Now I have crossed over from hatred to love. I will not be offended. Thank you, God, in me. I cross out every idea of sadness. I'm not interested in depression. The joy of the Lord is my strength. I cross out every idea of failure. God put it into me to be successful. I see myself succeeding in every area of my life. Thank you to the God in me. I cross out every idea of failure. Every suggestion of failure I crucify. I nail it to the cross and it dies. I live in success. Thank you for the God in me. I cross out the idea of poverty. I will not believe in poverty for me or anyone else. Nobody has to be poor. I will have nothing to do with poverty. I cross it out and I nail it to the cross right here, right now, and it dies. I cross over to health. God in me is my health, my strength, my vitality. God in me is my eternal youthfulness. I cross over to happiness, to joy, to praise, to thanksgiving, to upliftment. I cross over to peace, love, and harmony. I cross over to friendship, to the right people for every right thing in my life. I cross over to love, 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 love. I cross over to success, 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 and I will not turn back. I cross over to prosperity, prosperity, prosperity. I cross over to an abundance mindset. I cross over to the promised land that flows with milk and honey. Flow, God, flow. Flow, peace, flow. Flow, love, flow. Flow, success, flow. And now I have crossed over, I will not turn back. My heart is fixed, my mind is made up. I move from glory to glory, from good to good, from success to success, from prosperity to prosperity, and I'm on my way. Thank you to the God in me. I'm a hardcore optimist. Everything works out for me. Everything works out for me. I take the shovel of faith in my hands, and I'm about to dig new ditches for God to flow into my life. I now use the shovel of faith to clear the channels in my mind for God to flow in my life. As all the good I need and want flow, God, flow. I dig success ditches, wealth ditches, prosperity ditches, friendship and happiness ditches. Flow, God, flow in my life. Thank you, Father. Thank you, God in me. I will dig a money ditch for money than I've ever had in my life. God, this is a money ditch. And I'm not talking about chump change. Money to travel, money to buy all the things I need, to pay for my tithes and offerings. God, this is a money ditch. I clear away everything that is in my way. Thank you, God in me. I see money flowing. Thank you, God in me. So it is, and it cannot be otherwise, and I rejoice because of it. With the divine eye of God in me, I see myself receiving money, using money, giving money, enjoying money. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources as a flood. As rain pours down, money pours down on me to use and to keep and to enjoy. I and money have a great relation. We are friends, and our friendship is forever. God owns all the cattle in the world. He owns the whole earth. It's easy for God to give me money, cars, houses, and luxuries to use and enjoy. I see myself with more and more money to use and pay my bills with ease. I see that I'm the master of money. Money is my servant. I don't serve money, but money serves me. I think right about money. I do right about money. I enjoy money in the right ways. Thank God for ever-flowing, overflowing money. Thank you, God, for money and all good. Jesus said, knock and it will be opened for you. Ask and it shall be given to you. I just need to ask and receive it. Believe in full faith that money flows to me as rain and as flood, that I use it for the good of the world. I don't care how much they talk about recession and joblessness. The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. My cup overflows, and that is my prophecy. God gives me all things richly to enjoy, and that is my prophecy. God says in the Bible, I will take sickness away from the midst of you. I am your healer. I am the Lord that heals you. That is my prophecy. My prophecy is good health, good health, good health, great health and total well-being. My prophecy is happiness and love. That's my prophecy. My prophecy is success and prosperity. My prophecy is success and prosperity. Success and prosperity. Success and prosperity. That is my prophecy, and I will have nothing less than that. I don't care what the world says about the lack of money. Right here and right now, I seal my ears to the negative prophecies of the world about the lack of money. My ears are sealed against all that mess. God is the same today. God is the same good. God is the same shepherd. God is the same waymaker. God is the same miracle worker. God is the same provider. God does not change. This is my prophecy, and I will hear no other. So it is, and it cannot be otherwise, and I rejoice because of it. Thank you, God in me. Amen. Way, Amen. Okay, and now you can open your eyes. So this is the way, our new way, that we will be praying that we may do all the good that is necessary. Now, before I get into the Pasha, which Pasha we have today, let me just open that. Let me open that up. Let's see. Okay, so our Pasha today is Pashas 27, Tazria, which is in the book of Leviticus, chapters 12. But before I get into that, I want to give you a little bit update on what's happening in the world and around us, etc. Just to brief you up, as you know, Russia and Ukraine continue to fight and continue to have their troubles. I wanted to tell you something of interest. I think you'll find this interesting. And the interesting thing is this, that you may not be aware that, do you remember the empire, the Khasaria Empire, as they call them, the Khazars or Khazars, as you might know them. And you can read about this empire, I think in the book, the 13th Tribe. And the interesting thing about that Khasaria Empire, do you know which country today was the area of the Khasaria Empire? This is going to be a shock to you when I tell you the country. You're gonna say, wow, didn't know that, but now you know. And you know which country it was? That was the Khasaria Empire, where the whole empire converted to Judaism and then went into Europe. And those are the Jews that today mostly are called the Ashkenazim. Well, guess which empire? Guess which country? It was Ukraine. Ukraine was a country that was at that time known as Khasaria. And that was a country, the whole of the country converted to Judaism. And then down the road, other things happened. And do you know which people put this empire out of business? There was a lot of wars between the time they converted to other times. And the Jews, of course, they migrated out to Europe, to Hungary, to Poland, to Lithuania. All these Jews that come from these places, they are those same people. So, which people were the ones that put these people out of business? It was the Muslim empires that succeeded, that came up, that put this empire out of business. And we heard no more of the Khazarian Empire. Also, then later down the road, there were Christians living there, and it was acquired by different people, different czars, and it ended up with what we knew as the Soviet Union in the past, and now Russia. And then Russia, obviously, at some point it separated it, made it free and into a country, and they started operating in their own way. And that's basically where America and Europe is pouring its money to maintain that country for their own particular, I would say, their own, they have their own agendas to maintain that country or to keep it. And it's not by the way, it's not a righteous cause by any means. The media, there's a lot of people on the media that lie and they misrepresent information. So I would be very careful about what they say. Now, that was one piece of information. Let me give you the second piece of information. The second information is this, that the Queen Elizabeth in England wasn't and isn't really a descendant of King David. She is or was a descendant of some Germanic family, and they just hid their identity, and they changed their names from their German names to their British names so that people won't find out that they're Germanic race. Now, the real Queen Elizabeth, lo and behold, the one that is actually related to King Solomon, is actually a woman that is living in Philippines today. She's still alive. I'm not exactly sure of her age, but she's still alive, and she is the real deal, and she is in Philippines. Now, the other thing about that information is that the calendars that we've been given, like the calendars, the Gregorian calendar, before that was the Julian calendar, then you may have the Jewish version of the lunar calendar, etc. I'm not talking about the Enoch calendar that we use. Let's put that to one side. That is the most accurate calendar you're going to get. So the calendars that we have, they're all wrong. They're all faulty. They all have mistakes. And according to those calendars, Jubilee year falls, in some calendars it falls 2012, which has already been, in other calendars at different dates. But actual Jubilee year, according to the calendar that lady holds, who calls herself Queen Elizabeth, is in 2024, this year. So the year of Jubilee apparently is this year, and I think it's between September and December. Sometime during this time, there's a changeover and the Jubilee year kicks in. So according to the Jubilee year, as you know, all debts are supposed to be paid and forgiven, etc., etc. Well, let's see, what happens. There's a lot of change in the world. There's, BRICS going on. There's the dollar, dominance and dominance being done away with, other things going on, and so on and so forth. A lot of, things happening. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, what is the chances of me going to Pakistan and building my house in a city in which I've never lived before, and it happens to be that two direct descendants of Moses, the prophet Moses, are actually buried in that city, and they have their graves, a shrine where people go and pray, and they have their what we call the lineage. There's even their lineage is recorded. And one of the sons or descendants of the sons of Moses was actually named Solomon. And the other one was named Manjush. So those two graves, I found out, they have 9-foot graves in the city of, in the country of Pakistan, the city of Gujranwala. And there's the two direct descendants of Moses buried there, who the Muslims know and believe to be prophets. And there is a belief that 3,000 prophets, ancient prophets or children of ancient prophets, are buried in this land, in this country, Pakistan. And I wonder, this is interesting. It's a country with so much significance and history, which is kind of interesting. I find it very interesting. And, some of you may, those of you from India may or may not know that Govinda, one of the, heroes, not so long ago, maybe 5-10 years ago, he was a big hero. Govinda is an actor, and he actually has a home in the same city where there are two sons of Moses buried, and he has his home here, and it's in the old part of the city, and before his family left for India, by the way. So yeah, his home is here. Isn't that interesting? So, and there are other people as well, but I just found that interesting, that how God orchestrated and brought me here for me to have a home here and a connection with this part of the land. I mean, I could have been anywhere. I could have been any other country, but I was brought back to this country, and I was, establish a home here. And also, I guess there's good news that Pakistan just found oil and gas reserves in their sea. So let's see what comes of that. I mean, Pakistan's already blessed. Pakistan's already blessed in the sense that Saudi Arabia is about to spend $25 billion and start a refinery here in one part of the country. And then if they found oil, now my goodness, I mean, I don't know how that will change the country in the future. It's going to be for the good. So Baruch Hashem for that. Now, the other thing on the news front, or war front, as I told you before, that Israel's already lost the war that Israel is supposedly fighting. And it's not a righteous war, by the way. So let's, forget that it's a righteous war. Where a country begs for weapons to countries like America, UK, Germany, and France, and takes weapons from them, bombs, missiles, bullets, and uses it, and then asks them to come and fight on their behalf, I don't think that God is involved in this war. Most of you are mature enough to understand that when God is involved in a war, He doesn't need 10 other nations to help Him. Usually when God was involved in a war in the past, God actually reduced the army, the fighting men. He reduced the number. Remember what happened in Gideon's time. He said, make the number of the army 300, and they'll take on the rest of the enemy and defeat them, which they did. Well, that's not the case in Israel today. Israel, apparently, according to the economists in Israel, Israel is heading into the abyss. Jews in Israel, Ashkenazi Jews, as they call themselves, they are leaving in droves. They are leaving Israel in droves. Airports is packed. They are going back to their countries. Israel's economy is kind of bursting. Already its tourist industry is destroyed. More than 40,000 businesses are dead. Intel pulled out their latest business from Israel, which was about $25 billion to be invested in a factory. It's no longer going to be done. Some other big name companies are no longer going to put their companies over there. So big businesses are leaving Israel, and Israel is heading into the abyss. And as I told you, that Netanyahu is just, he's just speeding up the process. He's speeding up the process for the economic destruction of Israel today. And, the people of Israel, they're not, in the old days, they would lie to you. They will say to you, oh, the Palestinians did this and we did that. And even today they do the same thing, is where, inaccurate information is fed to the public, like they will bomb a school, they will bomb a hospital, and then say, oh, there's a command center there of Palestinians. And unfortunately, that's not the case. It's a total lie, and it's never the case, because they're just, when they deliberately either make a mistake or they deliberately kill people, innocent civilians, when they die, they want to cover it up, and they usually say things like, oh, there was a command center there, and the truth is there was no command center there, by the way. So that's really the truth. And I think that a lot of people today, a lot of Americans today, are finding out that they've been fed lies and misinformation, and now they're wising up to that. And they're asking the question, they're saying that why are we supporting these people, this country, for fighting wars and killing civilians? And there are many innocent civilians that die. Sure, there might be some fighters that die as well, but there are innocent civilians that die too. So Americans are beginning to question that. Listen, I was kind of shocked when I saw, and I was told, and I saw it as well, about 4 months ago in America, eggs, in a shop like Aldi, you probably know Aldi stores in America. In Aldi, eggs were being sold for $1, I believe it was $1.08 for a dozen eggs. Today, the same dozen eggs are being sold for $3.70 something cent. So the egg prices in America has tripled, a dozen eggs. And remember, I told you that eggs in California were like $1 a piece. So the eggs in California were like $12 for a dozen or something. And it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what people were saying. And I was like, wow, $12 for a dozen eggs in California. California is the wrong place to be. You should not be in California. If you're in California, you should be moving out faster than your grandfather. You should be moving out, moving over to the East Coast somewhere. I've warned about that many years ago. California is going to be destroyed, but if you're not moved, then you need to think about moving fast. So similarly, I think that I felt like maybe a new chapter, maybe a new book needs to be written about Israel and the goings on of Israel and what's happening over there and prophecy, how it's unfolding and what's going to happen, etc. But I kind of refrained from doing it. I just give you an idea that Israel, as I told you last time as well, that then parts of the nation will be completely destroyed. When this war that they have begun, when this war gets intense, many cities of Israel are already burning, and more will be burning, and they'll be destroyed, and people will just leave in droves. And there may even come a time that Israel will be struck with weapons of mass destruction, by the nations that they are fighting. And what will transpire is that parts of Israel may become uninhabitable. Who knows how long for? There are prophecies written in the Bible, in the book of the prophet Zechariah, that such things are going to happen. And I believe that people like Netanyahu are just accelerating and doing just that. So, when that happens is going to be time to see. Let's see what happens. So that was kind of the news. And I also wanted to tell you that America has already been defeated. America is a waning power. America is no longer the superpower that people feared. People don't fear America anymore outside of America. Yemenite soldiers, people of no known ancestry, people who really had no standing in the world. Nobody knew who was Yemen. And Yemenite fighters come up and they destroy, from February this year to now, they have destroyed 10 Reaper drones of America. The most expensive being recently destroyed. 10 drones have been destroyed by the Yemen forces. And that has put America out of business, in terms of war, because America doesn't know what's coming, what's going. America's leaders are so foolish that they're getting involved in wars that they shouldn't be, and now they're paying the price for it. And also, they had taken their big ships over there, their big, aircraft carriers, and guess what happened? In the last, couple of days, they moved those carriers out because they're afraid that they might get destroyed. And this helicopter that was downed in Israel, and that's never happened, a helicopter was downed, probably by Lebanon. Nobody knows how. By the way, there was no missile that was fired. They believe it could be through electronic warfare. So Israel is no longer, the country that can just go out there and bomb people and just come back and say, oh yeah, there was a command center there and we just destroyed it. That's a total BS and lies that they're giving people. That those BS and lies have now come back to bite Israel, because they sent out their F-16 in Syria to attack Syria. I believe it belonged to Israel, and they destroyed it, by the way. Yeah, that F-16 was destroyed by missile systems that were probably put there by Russia, I reckon. So Israel is not happy with Russia, with not Mr. Putin, and of course, there's now a proxy war going on between Israel and Russia in that sense. So the interesting thing I want to say is there are 12 breakaway states in Russia, CIS states, the independent republics. Mostly they are Muslim states, and a lot of those states are on the side of Russia. And Russia uses those states to fight its wars when it needs help. Those people come, like Ramadan Karadov, they have fighting force in Chechnya, good fighters, and whenever Russia needs their help, they come and they help Russia, and they are great friends with each other. So more and more so, those CIS states are coming into action. which hadn't been for a while, but now they're coming more and more into action. So things are dynamically changing. I don't know how long the dollar will be able to hold its dominance, but I guess time will tell. Unfortunately, our leaders are, I would probably say, they are cowards and they are liars, because what they do is they support a cause and they lie to the public, and they support people that kill innocent people, and then they pretend like it never happened or it was a righteous cause, and that's not the case. So that's unfortunately where we are today. America is in the middle of an election coming up. Europe just 2 days ago, I guess, or 1 day ago, Thursday, Europe reduced the interest rate. America is next in a week's time maybe. America will be putting the first interest rate cut, which is expected, and America is expected to maybe make 2, possibly 3 cuts by the end of the year to help the public, because American high interests have crippled many businesses. Many small businesses have been crippled by it and suffering, and banks are even suffering because they have to pay high interest on these loans that they picked up dirt cheap. They picked up these loans when the interest rates in America was like 0.25%, a 0.25%, and now interest rates obviously where it is, way high at the moment. So now they need to bring it down in order to stop the bleeding in the jobs market, and also a lot of people that are claiming unemployment. So all around, those are the things that are going on. But like we said, we are the people of God. We serve God. We serve righteous causes. We do righteous deeds, and we don't care about recession happening in America or other countries. We don't care about high unemployment, because God is our supplier. We make our own economy. We make our own, we are the Holy Grail, and God uses us, and God works through us to bless us, and that's where we are. So remember that we, the people of God, the chosen, the real chosen people, and wherever we are, whichever countries we're living in, God's going to protect us, God's going to bless us, and God's going to work through us. That's His promise. He's a covenant God. He doesn't change, and we, respect that, and we follow that. Now in the Parshas Tazria, chapter 12, it says, "And Yudhewahi spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman has conceived and given birth to a child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean. And in the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised." So this is basically given a decree in the Torah about, if you give birth to a son, that you're to circumcise that boy on the 8th day, provided he has no illnesses. You are to circumcise on the 8th. If he has an illness, then you have to wait. But if he has no illness, he should be circumcised on the 8th day, and then he should follow through with the rest of the things that the Torah asks. The Torah asks some certain sacrifices, like it talks about, bringing a, if you give birth to a female child, how long the woman will be unclean. And then it talks about for a son, it says that after the purification process, she'll bring a lamb for the first year for a burnt offering. Today that would be the equivalent price of a lamb, let's say $400. Excuse me. And a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering to the door of the tent of the appointed times. And he shall offer it before Yudhewahi. And if she is not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. By the way, this is still in action. This is still in effect. Don't think to yourself, oh, there's no temple, I don't have to do nothing. No, you still have to do it, but you do it in monetary terms. If your wife has given birth to a son, or if your wife has given birth to a daughter, you still come to the priest and you still do the same thing, but you do it in monetary terms. Like I told you, we didn't need a temple to, have the Shekinah glory of God before us. And we didn't need it then for tithing and zadaqah, and we don't need it now. Until the temple is restored, all these things shall continue. As long as the priesthood is alive, God is alive, and the priesthood is alive, things continue. Now, remember, I told you that you hear nowhere in history that the Ark of the Covenant was at one time with the Muslims. And this is true. Ark of the Covenant was with the Muslims at one time, hidden in the valleys of what's today probably known as Syria or Damascus. It was hidden there, and until the Crusaders, they found it, and then it was, they took it, and it was back and forth like that in a battle that was fought in the, I would say, between the 10th and the 12th century AD, by the way, as late as that. So this ideology that the Ark was lost is not true, and it is total fabrication and lie. And so just as you were told lies and inaccurate information by so-called rabbis in the past, there's no temple and you don't have to sacrifice, blah, blah, blah. No, wherever the priesthood is, wherever the priest that God is called out is, that is where sacrifices can take place. Even that is considered the holy, the holy place in terms of God's presence. I'm talking about God's presence, not a building. A building cannot contain God. No building can contain God. God is where there is a person that He is called for Himself, chosen priest. So that's where He can perform His sacrifice. He can do everything. Yes, everything. And this idea that the rabbis came in in 70 or 66 CE or AD, and they came and put an end to sacrifice. Well, the rabbis have no authority to do such a thing. And especially Rabbinic Judaism has no such authority, by the way. And I reject all such authority, because we were given the authority, the sons of Moses, and as the sons of Aaron rather, and Moses. And if you look, because the sons of Moses were part of the priesthood as well, Levites, but Aaron's sons became the high priests and subsequent priests. So this is interesting that in the country of Pakistan, there are two sons of Moses buried right in the city where I built a home. Isn't that surprising? What does that tell you? Could I have fathomed that? Did I know that? Absolutely not. I knew nothing about it until today. That wow, there is two graves here of two prophets that actually belong to the tribe of Moses and to the children of the sons of Moses. Meaning I have a direct connection with them, direct relationship. So as I told you today, that everything is alive, everything is well. The Torah is a living entity. Torah is not just a book. Torah is living entity, and everything is in operation. And as I told you, I don't care what Netanyahu thinks he can do. I don't care what Joe Biden thinks he can do. I will call out the shots. I will decide who is the next president of America, and I will decide what happens in Israel, because I have that ability to call out that shot. So again, I'm not going to tell everybody who is going to be what, but like I said, for many years I just remained on the sidelines and didn't do nothing. I let people just do their own thing, righteous, unrighteousness, let them carry on. But now that time has changed. Now I take active part. I see what's going on, where and who needs to be put in place and who needs to be removed. I write that. My pen is mightier than the sword. All I need to do is write it and commit it to God, and it will be done, and it is done. So as I've been telling you for the last maybe 2 or 3 months that Israel's going to lose the war, and now it's confirmed that Israel's lost the war. And Israel's lost the war with a, I don't know the word, the word to use, with humiliation. Humiliatingly they lost the war. With their so-called powerful army, they still lost it. Because you know why? Well, let's not talk about why. Because there's a Kohen here still standing, that's why. Because I said that these people, there needs to be a stop put in place for these people to stop doing their unrighteous behaviors. Unrighteous behaviors need to stop by leaders and by soldiers. Because soldiers, of course, they're in the direct command of their generals, of their colonels, but the colonels are accountable. Yeah, the colonels are accountable. Generals are accountable. And is the prime minister is also accountable. So prime minister can't get away with murder just as the generals can't. So they're all accountable. Remember in our ancient time, what happened? In our ancient time, the priesthood was directly in connection with the kings. The king had to be put in place by a priest. If there was no priest, there would be no king. And if there was a king without a priest, then he was an unrecognized king and an unlawful king. So think on those terms. Was Netanyahu put in place by a priest? Is he a lawful prime minister? Is he what he's doing today lawful? These are all questions that need to be asked. And I don't care what somebody claims about themselves and what they tell the world, just because they got the name Moshe or they got the name, Zelensky or Polensky, they think that they are Jews, they think they're chosen. They need to stop playing these games, foolishness. These foolish games can only fool the Christians and they don't fool the real people of God. They don't fool them. So let's not, worry too much about that. But like I said, that what we are seeing in the Middle East is my goodness, what can I say? I think a lot more is going to come. Keep your eyes, keep your, pulse on the Middle East, and you'll get to see a lot more prophecy as it occurs. Now, I want to move on from here. I was just giving you the Parsha's notes that, those sacrifices, those things, they still need to be done today. If you have a wife and she's given birth to a child, you need to be in touch with the Kohen, and you need to do the right things. And my student, in America, one of my students whose wife did have a son, he did actually go through all those exercises in the Torah. He was righteous enough to do all of those, and God sees everything. God has blessed him in the past, and God is going to bless him more so in the future, a lot more. Now, also I want to say this publicly to help you. If those of you, I think one time I spoke about Forex, freedom in Forex, or freedom through Forex. Listen, I have the technology, I have the means, I have the knowledge. So I've asked you this before, and I'm going to ask you again, that those of you who wish to learn the Forex, I'm not talking about charging you a fees or join my club and I'll charge you this much. No, I will teach you for free. If you're my students, if you've been with me, I will teach you absolutely free. And I will teach you how to make money consistently in the Forex markets. But you need to connect with me. You need to contact me. I'm not going to knock on your doors. You're going to have to knock on my door and say, I like to learn. Then what I can do is I can then, guide you as to what you need to do, how you need to prepare, and then I can make some, video clips to help you, and I can also maybe do a one-to-one or a one-to-many, like a Zoom call or something, and assist you with that way. There are many ways to do it. I can use those, means, the internet means, to help you, to guide you, so that you can prosper yourselves. Because, the Forex markets are not easy to navigate. A lot of people try, it's a big market worth trillions of dollars. A lot of people are competing against bankers. So you need to know when the banks are about to move, and you need to know when where the price is going to go. And like I said, I have the methods. I can guide you, I can help you. I have some students, in the East that I help, and I can help you to do that. But you need to get in touch with me. You have my email, my phone. Maybe, sometimes it's not working, but definitely the email, Shimon63, SHIMOUN63 @yahoo.com. Write to me and give me your phone number or a WhatsApp number, and or you can WhatsApp me. And if you don't have my WhatsApp number, I can, you can send me your number. I can WhatsApp you and we can talk, and I can guide you as what to do. The very first thing I would advise you to do is to learn how to draw a Fibonacci on your chart, on your currency pair, whichever currency pair you're interested in trading, whether it's gold, whether it's Euro USD, whether it's Pound USD, whatever it is, NASDAQ 100, Dow Jones, US 30, maybe the Japanese pairs. I prefer the Euro JPY, etc. And learn how to draw your Fibonacci. Learn how to put your percentages down. And if you're not sure, again, that's something I can teach you in due course. But that's just by the by, just to let you know. So I want to basically move forward to Jesus, Yeshua, and I wanted to talk, I believe it's Matthew 20. I want to go to Matthew 20, the book of Matthew, the parables of the worker in the vineyard. I want to speak a little bit about that and, give you some understanding in that. It says as follows, chapter 20, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard. About 9 in the morning he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. He told them, 'You also go and work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right.' So they went. He went out again about noon and about 3 in the afternoon and did the same thing. About 5 in the afternoon he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, 'Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing?' 'Because no one has hired us,' they answered. He said to them, 'You also go and work in my vineyard.' When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, 'Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and going on to the first.' The workers who were hired about 5 in the afternoon came and each received a denarius. So when those came who were hired first, they expected to receive more, but each one of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble or murmur against the landowner. 'These who were hired last worked only 1 hour.' They said, 'And you have made them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the work and the heat of the day.' But he answered one of them, 'I am not being unfair to you, friend. Didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as one I gave you. Don't I have the right to do that, to do what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous? So the last will be the first, and the first will be the last.'" So what does it mean? Well, there is a lecture on the internet it's only a 35-minute lecture by Earl Nightingale. I want you to download that, and I want you to listen to it. And I don't want you to just listen to it one time and then forget about it. I want you to listen to it maybe every day if you can, or every other day. Just as today I gave you my visual prayer, I want you to do this visual prayer every day from this lecture. And next week we'll do it again from the same prayer. I won't put it on repeat. Like, I'm not going to repeat my recording from today. I will do it fresh with you. The same prayer. Maybe I'll add some more words to it. Maybe I'll take away some. Maybe I'll add some new ones. But it will be the same prayer done with you every week. So that I want to see you prosper. I want to see you all blessed. And I want to see you all happy in your lives and with your families. That is the idea. Because it is all here, it is all within us. We are the Holy Grail. There is no Holy Grail out there. We are the Holy Grail. So what this story teaches us is that the landowner, in this case the kingdom of heaven, remember the kingdom of heaven is within us. So it says the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner. So there was people who came in the morning and they were asked to be given they were told to be given a denarius for the day for the work in the vineyard. And it says 9 in the morning he went out and saw others standing. So the landowner, being the kingdom of heaven, God in this case, God goes out at 9. First he goes out in the morning, collects workers. Then he goes out at 9, right? And then he goes out again at noon, third time. Then he goes out at 3, fourth time. Then it goes out at 5, fifth time. So God technically goes out 5 times collecting workers, standing there, lounging around, and he asks them to work for him, and they say, okay, and they all agree on a denarius. But after he's paid the one that came the last, who only worked for 1 hour, he paid him the last the same as he paid the first that came at let's say at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, the one that came at 6 got the paid the same, and the one that came at 5 p.m. only worked for 1 hour till 6 got paid the same. And the first one grumbled, was envious, jealous, grumbled. Now, in our world today, we are taught a cliche, and the cliche is this: oh, you have to work really hard, you have to put your sweat and blood into it, and then you will make money. That is the worst lie that we all have been taught by our parents. All of us, by our parents, uncles, aunties, they all taught us this lie. They brainwashed us with that lie. And I can tell you that today, I'm not talking about America, I'm not talking about Britain, I'm talking about India, I'm talking about Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. There are people in these countries, when they go out to do the labor work, like they want to carry bricks in the heat of the day, and they get paid, my goodness, you're not going to believe this, but this is the actual truth. They get paid a day $5.39. Okay? I'm talking about Pakistan, and not far different in Bangladesh, and not far different in India. Around $5 to $6. Let's just say $5.50. Let's round it up. $5.50 for a day's work for doing labor, like they might be carrying, buckets of sand on their head, they might be carrying bricks, they might be carrying other things, and they, they do that. That's a hard job in the heat of the day. And here in these countries, in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, countries like these, Sri Lanka, in these countries, heat can go up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, even sometimes 105 and 110 even some places. So mostly in these places, these countries, heat can be anywhere between 90 and 100, mostly. 90 and 100 is average. So it's not like, you're in Ohio, and it's a nice cooler weather. And in Ohio, when I'm in Ohio, I'm getting beautiful cooler weather. I'm getting like, my goodness, I'm getting like, maybe it only reached 55 today, and 60. Nice cool weather. But when I was living in Pensacola was hitting, goodness, 85 temperatures, 90 temperature, 93. And Pensacola, you can't be without air, cool air. Similarly, the people who work the hardest in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and surrounding countries, they work the hardest, and they get paid the lowest, $5.50 a day. From that, they have to go feed their families. They have to, do their daily chores, buy, vegetables or meat or whatever for their family, and save money for the bills, electric bills, gas bills, and so on, and for clothes and so on and so forth. And they can't do everything, by the way. Remember the family that we support in Pakistan, the family that we support, the one family only that we've been supporting, and we are helping to pay their bill, or we're helping to buy their clothes or other things. That girl came to me yesterday, because we helped her with the money at the end of the month, towards her necessaries. And she came and she said, can I ask for, I think she was asking for, let me see what the amount was. Let me actually work it out. Yeah, it was about $54. It's not actually 54. It usually works out a little bit more, because you have to pay some expenses, towards the company that, pays out, because they charge a little bit, like a, percentage. Let's just say $60, a rounded figure. She was asking for $60 because she is studying, and I helped to put this girl into learning how to be a beauty therapist. Okay? Now, of course, the fees, part of the fees are paid and part of the fees still need paying. They're expensive. They're not cheap. So, and let me tell you how expensive the fees are, so you know that as well. So for one term, like 3 months, the fees is, let me work it out. about $234. So it's $234 fees for 3 months of the course, and then for the next 3 months it'll be another $234, and so on. So I have to pay the fees for the girl for the first month, and she came back and she said, can I ask for, this is after helping her with the bills and everything. She said, can I ask for, I think it was $55, $60. And I already had helped her. You supported me. I want to thank you for that. Those of you who supported me, I already had helped them with the ration, the bill, and other things. And I told her, I said, listen, young girl, I said, you're gonna have to wait till the end of the month, because the budget that I had to help you is already been spent. It's already gone. And she was saying to me that she wanted to buy a straightener, and she wanted to buy some other stuff, that she could actually do some work on girls independently in her home, and maybe make some money on that, like whatever she charges. So I told her, I said, you're gonna have to wait till the end of the month. At the end of this month, when I get new budget for you, when you guys will help me, and I'll then be able to help her. And I said that I'll be able to then support you with that. But I said, I'm not going to be able to support you right now because the budget is out. I'm sorry, the budget is gone, used up, and the rest will be next month. Or not next month, but end of this month. So she said, okay. So that's the kind of thing that I deal with, and that's the only one family that we support over here. Now, having said that, there was a family, a Christian family, by the way, that came to me today, and I didn't want to tell you this, but I might as well tell you, because these things happen in the month as well. They came to me and they said to me that they wanted to buy some rice and they didn't have the money. So I inquired, and I know the prices already, so I know how much the rice are and how much the vegetables are, and so on and so forth, because you have to keep a tab on these things so that you're not being told wrong information by people. Anyway, so she asked me the prices, and I said, yeah, the rice, 10 kilogram bag costs this much, meat is this much, vegetables this much, etc. I gave her the prices. She goes, my goodness, you know all these prices? I said, of course I know all the prices, because I used to go to these people and ask them, what is the price of rice? What is the price of this vegetable? What is the price of that one? And my wife had the habit of not asking, and I told her, why don't you ask? Why don't you ask how much is this, for the kilograms? How much is sugar for a kilo, or how much is rice for a kilo, or how much is potatoes for a kilo? And she would like, oh, I didn't ask. No, I said, you need to ask. Because, what if tomorrow somebody says to me, oh, can you support me with, I want to buy 2 kilos of potatoes, and how am I supposed to help them when I don't know the price? So anyway, I was teaching my wife that you shouldn't be doing that. You should be asking prices. So I go, when I go to these people, I asked the price before I purchased, so I knew the prices. So the girl came and she said that she didn't have rice. She wanted to buy rice to cook. Nothing special, nothing big. She wanted to cook rice, and she wanted to put potatoes in there because she couldn't afford to buy chicken. So I said, okay, potatoes are X amount of money, rice are X amount of money for 5 kilo bag. And I said, why don't you get the 10 kilo bag? And I said, okay, I'll support you with that. So I supported the girl with a 10 kilo bag of rice and money for potatoes and some other items. And she was happy with that. She was like happy, and she thanked me, and I gave her the money and she took it. No problem. So this happens in the month, by the way. It's not like uncommon for me to get a family coming to me and saying to me, we are, out of money. We have a bill that came up. Oh yeah, the same girl came to me 3 days ago and said to me she had a bill to pay, electric bill, and she didn't have the money, and that they were like short by, how much was it? Let me work it out. Yeah, $36. They were short by $36, and she asked me to help her, and I did help her. I gave her that $36. I said, take it and go and pay your bill. So, everything adds up. It's not like you just do $36. It's sometimes like 3 or 4 people can come to you in the month and say to you, somebody might say, I need $50. Somebody might say, I need $100. So it all adds up. It's not like, so as long as, my students support me, I'm able to support these people and help them, because I believe that what God gives me, I'm able to support these needy people, and God will give me more for that. And similarly, God will give you more for that. The more you give, the more you receive, and the more you give, and the more you receive. That's the cycle that we are in, and it works like that. So, coming back to the kingdom of heaven, it is like the person who came in the morning at 6 o'clock, worked all day through the heat of the day, he was paid 1 denarius. Meaning that the lie that we've been told, the lie is this, that hey, you have to work really, really hard, and then you will make money, and then you will become rich. So we were taught this lie from the beginning as children, that we were brainwashed and told that I have to work really, really hard. I have to go out there and work in a factory and earn, $3 an hour. I'm talking about back in my day when I was young. I'm still young today, but I was young back then as well. Some were young twice. So, I had to, my time I was getting less than $3. Okay, now people might say, oh, it's $15 now an hour. Well, it wasn't always $15. What was it 10 years ago? What was it 5 years ago? What was it 20 years ago? It wasn't $15, was it? So people were earning respectively, and today inflation, your $15 in inflation, if you're going to pay $4 for gas, for petrol, and you are earning $15, let's say, you don't get 15, you have to pay taxes. Take out 30% from that for taxes. Take out about $5 for taxes, you're left with 10. Now from that 10, you're going to pay $4 for gas. Okay? How much you left with? $6. Now for that $6, let's say you pay $4 for a dozen eggs. How much you left with? $2? Now you start working out how far that $15 an hour goes. So my point is this, it's all relative. According to inflation, money gets squeezed. It gets less and less and less. So this idea that we have to work really hard and we have to earn, $15 an hour to become rich is absolutely absurd. Because there are people in this country, there are people in India, people in Bangladesh that are earning $5 to $6 a day. Maybe even less in some countries, in African countries. So it is absolutely a lie that you have to work hard to become rich. Listen, when I was in the UK and I was working in a factory, on a factory floor, and I believe my hourly salary was some stupid figure. It wasn't even $2 an hour. I was earning some stupid figure, maybe $1.50 or something an hour. And I had to work there 40 hours, and I worked overtime, and by the time I finished and came home, I remember my first salary when I was 16, my first salary was £25. Think about that. £25 was my first salary, that take-home pay. And in those days, the pound was equivalent to about 1.7 to the dollar. So £25 would have been like maybe $35, $40. That was my first salary, by the way, when I was 16. So, it gradually went up from £25 or from $37, it went up to $50, then $55, then $60. Okay? I would have never got rich with that salary. Would I ever get rich with that salary, working 50, 60 hours a week? No way. I would never get rich with that salary. Not even in UK. We're talking about India, Pakistan, Bangladesh earning $5, $6 an hour a day. How are these people ever going to become rich? They're never going to become rich with that kind of salary. And I would have never become rich with $25 for a week salary. Sorry, $25 a week. Yeah, I would have never got rich. £100 a month, $170 a month. I would have never become rich with $170 a month. I worked my butt, in the factory, 12 hours a day, 6.5 days, 6 days a week. You think that would have made me rich? That is the lie, the absurd lie that my parents or my, subordinates, or not subordinates, my superiors, my elders taught me, and it was an utter lie. I learned as I grew up that is the fastest way to be poor, is to work in a factory, hand to mouth, and you'll never get anywhere. And I learned that you have to get educated, you have to get some kind of degree, you have to then leave this world of factory and cab driving and then move on into your life, into a better job, and then maybe you'll get somewhere. I learned that as I grew up. And I learned, and when I was earning, listen to this, when I was earning $100,000 salary plus bonus, when I was on a $100,000 salary, I was earning more per week than I would earn in a whole year when I was on 25 pounds or $37 a week. Let's call it $100 and I don't know, $30 a month. So $130 a month, and I was earning a lot more on 100,000, and I would be able to buy a house, buy a car, do everything, within a few months, be able to do that. But I would not be able to buy a house, buy a car with my piddly little salary of $20 a month or something. So the lie that we've been all taught was that you have to work hard, and that's the biggest lie. No, you don't have to work hard. You have to work in your mind. You have to work your field. Your mind is your field. And that is what we've been taught by Jesus, Yeshua, in the Bible. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner. So the kingdom of heaven within us, which connects to God, it's a field. It's a field, it's a very fertile, your mind is a very fertile field. Instead of running the negative talk, instead of running the negative, thoughts all day long, or looking at negative information on media, Facebook and TikTok and all this baloney, out there, wasting time, you would rather sit down and say, I am rich, or you might say, I have, $10 million in my account, or $10 million in whatever way, whatever affirmation you use. You might use the affirmation, I have $10 million in my account. Simple affirmation, nothing hard. I have $10 million in my account. I have maybe $20 million in my account, or I have $50 million in my account. What is easier? To earn $15 an hour and remain poor, or is it easier to get through exercising your mind, exercising your thoughts, your self-talk in the right way to produce produce 10 million in your account? What is easier? I ask that, and that is what this parable is about. This parable is teaching you that the person that came first, he was envious, he was greedy, he did not know how to use his mind. So he was only paid a denarius, and he was complaining about it. But the person that came last only worked 1 hour. He was actually smarter in that sense, that he only worked a fraction of the time, and he earned the same as a person who worked 12 hours. So he worked fraction, 1/12 of the time, and he earned the same money as a one who worked 12 hours. So who was the smart guy? The one who came at the end. This is why the parable goes about to say the first will be the last and the last will be the first. Meaning, if today, so the last will be the first and the first will be the last. Meaning, today, if any of you, and I'm talking about you now, you the people listening, if any of you put your minds to work and you decide that you want to change your lives for the better, you want to be prosperous, you don't want to be poor, and you don't want to be working for a corporation for the rest of your life as a slave, making them rich, rather you want to enrich yourself, because there are Americans, by the way, who've left America, who've gone to the shores abroad in Dubai, in Bahrain, in maybe Indonesia, Bali, and other countries, and maybe even Thailand, and they are living over there, and they are paying a lot less rent. They're living there kind of a semi-luxury life, and they're paying less rent, less taxes, and they have a much more freer life. And they're earning the dollars still. They're still making dollars. How are they making dollars? Well, most of these are online workers, digital workers. They're making it from YouTube. They're making it from some other endeavor. But it's an online endeavor. Maybe they're selling stuff on Amazon. Maybe they're selling stuff on eBay. Maybe they're doing other things, but they are making their money on a similar endeavor to that. And they are making more money, and they are having more relief and less taxes, and they are not living in America and UK. And the people are leaving UK in droves. Those people, millionaires, or the ones about to become millionaires, have already left UK. They've already left America. They're not in America. They don't want to be in America, because they know that by them being in America, they'll be taxed more, and they'll be taxed less or no tax in places like Dubai. So they have left already. So my point is this: do you want to change your life, or you want to stay in a rut? Most of you have put yourself in a rut, and you don't seem to have the navigation to move out of that rut. So you need to move out. What's the first thing you need to do? The first thing you need to do is to decide, make a decision. What should be your pay a month? I'm not talking about chump change over here. We're talking about serious money. Maybe for some of you, that serious money might be you want to earn $50,000 a month. For some of you, it might be $100,000 a month. Raise up the figure. Raise it up. Don't, lower it. Don't say, oh, maybe $1,000 a month is enough. No, it's not enough, $1,000 a month. $2,000 is not enough. Even $3,000 a month is not enough. You need to raise the figure. Raise it to an uncomfortable level. Something like $100,000, yeah. $200,000 a month, yeah. That's an uncomfortable level. But it's a level where you're going to, that's the dream, that's the vision you're going to see. You're not going to be like that worker that came at 6 a.m. to earn a denarius for 12 hours. You're going to be the one that came last. But you didn't earn a denarius, you actually earned a ton of denarius. So how's that going to happen? It's very easy. You start to do the work with your mind. Your mind is a fertile field. If you grow nightshade in your mind, then nightshade will grow. Poison will grow. If you grow wheat, then wheat will grow. How about you grow money in your mind? Businesses in your mind. How about you do that? Maybe you're selling some services to people that earn you money. There are many, many endeavors. Some people work on the market. Some people do real estate. Other people do other services. So there are many services that you can do to make money. Some people have started a YouTube channel. They started a YouTube channel and they are making money from the likes and subscribers they are collecting. Many people are making a lot of money in that endeavor. And maybe there's something you can do as well. You need to ask yourself, what do I want to earn a month? Then set a nice fat figure against that. I think $100,000 will be a good figure a month, don't you? So put $100,000 figure. Write it down. I would like to earn $100,000 a month. Get a nice journal, get a nice notepad, make it your journal, write it in there. I like to earn $100,000 a month, minimum. More is nicer, but minimum 100,000 is good. Once you write that, what do you do next? Next, you need to formulate. Robotic affirmations are simply the way to continue to repeat until it gets into your subconscious that that's what you want, and then the subconscious will do the rest. Subconscious is the connection to God, because you are the Holy Grail. There is no Holy Grail out there. Amazon is not the Holy Grail. Forex is not the Holy Grail. Futures, market is not the Holy Grail. Nasdaq is not the Holy Grail. You are the Holy Grail. Once you know that you are the Holy Grail, you can tap into any market and be a successful person and bring money out, because you are the Holy Grail. You are, sir and madam, you are the person, for whom the world will toll. The bells will ring. The world is going to be your oyster for you, because you are the Holy Grail. People are searching for the Holy Grail outside of themselves. No, the Holy Grail is within you. You are the Holy Grail. God is within you. Start working with the God within you. If you, started to do 30 minutes of robotic affirmation. What would be one method? One method could be that you set a figure like $100,000 a month, and you'd say to yourself, I am making $100,000 a month. Something of that effect. I am making $100,000 a month. Let's just say that's your affirmation. I am making $100,000 a month. And you repeat it for 30 minutes. Every day for 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes in the morning when you have spare time, and 30 minutes at night. Of course, you're going to have spare time if you're working. You can find spare time in your lunch. Take half an hour lunch and use the other half an hour to do that. 30 minutes of just this. I am making $100,000 a month. 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 Is that hard? Yeah, it looks like a tall figure, looks like impossible, but no, there are people earning more than that. So you need to start doing that. That's how you're going to work. That's how you're going to work your mind. Work the field in your mind. Your mind is a field, a ripe field. You're going to have to work it. God has given us all that ability. All of us have that ability. And we all need to work it. And if you work it, then God is going to start sending you opportunities. Once you keep working it, God's going to start sending you opportunities. Opportunities are going to start opening up for you. Avenues through which, one day, soon, you're going to be earning $100,000 a month. Then once you start earning $100,000, you're going to be saying, oh, $100,000 is easy. I need to earn maybe more. I know somebody, my teacher in the Forex market, his name is Dave. He's a Christian, he's a good guy. He is earning, and he showed us his statement. Okay, in his statement, he was earning $13,000 a day in his statement, right? In his NASDAQ statement, that is making $65,000 a week. This man, black man by the way, is not white, and don't say, oh, he's white, he must have connections. No, he's a black man, ex-policeman. The black guy, right, good guy, he's a nice man, Christian man, and he's earning $65,000 a week from the NASDAQ market. Now you times it by 4, that's $260,000. I have seen personally last year, as late as last year when I was still in his classes. I'm not in his classes now, but he's charging a lot more money for his classes now. It used to be less. Now he's charging $300 a month for his classes. But he's making $250,000 plus every month. Think about it for a second. So when I tell you to have 100,000 goal, you think it's too much? I know somebody's earning 3 times that. So this is why I say to you that you can make more money. But you really need, you really must need to know that you need to have what I call the mindset. You need to have a mindset shift. And if you have the mindset shift, then when you wake up in the morning, because we live in a plastic world, this is a hologram. We create this hologram through our mind. When you have created this hologram from the mind, and if you tell yourself that you're gonna change this hologram to the way you want to see it, not how it is. You want to change it to the way you want to see it. And the question is, how you do that? You do that through your affirmations. You do that through your mindset. And that's what I'm trying to teach you, is you need to use your mindset to do all of that. And, I can only tell you, I can't force you, but like I said, in the morning when you wake up in the morning, and if you do the 30 minutes in the morning and the 30 minutes in the evening, my goodness, you're already on the road, on the path to success. You're on the path to freedom, but you got to start somewhere. First write your goal down, how much you want to earn a month, then start working on your affirmation. Make an affirmation, start working on it. And before you know it, things are going to start moving. Don't think like, I am, 60 years old, I'm 70 now, I'm 80, how can I do it now? I'm 80, I have a wooden leg. No, none of those things matter. Not a single thing like that matters. Only thing that matters is your decision that you want to earn X amount of money a month. That's the only thing that matters. As I told you, Dave is making over $260,000 a month. He has no wife. When I was with him, he had no wife. His wife had divorced him. He had children, little children, that, they were there in the room, and sometimes he'd tell them, go out of the room and behave, because they'll be making noises when he's, teaching his trading sessions. So I'm asking you to think of what I just said. Think of what I said. All of you have the ability to earn big money. But I'm telling you that you need to stop thinking to yourself that you're too old, or you have a wooden leg, or you got a broken arm or something like that, or whatever. Whatever is your crutch. You need to stop that crutch, and you need to start doing what I'm telling you. Because once you start doing what I tell you, you're going to start moving your life in the right direction. You're going to start moving in the right direction. So please think about where you are today and why you are here. Why you are in this situation is because you, through your mindset, have put yourself there. It's not because, my neighbor did it, my uncle did it, my auntie did it. Sure, you may have, had some information, or maybe they, spoke to you some negative words, and you accepted those negative words, and you believed them, and maybe, they have affected you. Sure, that can happen. That can happen. I believe that. But what I'm saying is that you really need to stop thinking like that. You really need to stop thinking like that. And you need to change your mindset. Once you change your mindset, my goodness, you'll not be the same ever again. So make a decision of how much you want to earn. 100,000 is a good start. A month. I'm talking about, not a year, a month. $100,000. Your robotic affirmations work. I know somebody today who is a millionaire through robotic affirmations. You're telling me, I get tired and, nothing is changing. Things are always changing. Things are moving in the background. You need to stop believing in the negativity. And if you stop believing in the negativity, things will change for you as well. I guarantee you, things will change for you. But you need to really start believing in yourself. Start believing in who you are. Because if you do, then your life will start to move in the right direction. Unfortunately, the only reason your life is moving in the wrong direction is because of your belief that, I'm too old, or I don't have the qualifications, or one thing or another. It's going to be something like that. Something like that, of that effect, that you don't have the qualifications, or blah, 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 and, that's why I'm not getting there. And I'm telling you that is a lie of the devil. You should not believe that lie. That is a lie of the devil, that, you are here, and you are suffering because of, something that happened, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. I'm telling you, you have the way, you are the Holy Grail. You can change your life right now, today. But you need to believe yourself. So, write down your goal of what you desire to earn, and then start working on a robotic affirmation. Your robotic affirmation will be close to what you want to be. And if you're not sure, if you write something, you're not sure, ask me, and I'll be able to correct you and help you with that. And then start repeating it. The more you do it, the better. Remember Robert Millikan. Robert Millikan wrote the affirmation, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. He went straight for 16 hours speaking that affirmation, locked himself in his room, and for 16 hours he spoke that affirmation. And his life changed. He was never the same poor boy ever again. things transpired, things started to move, and he became the man that was having a lavish, steady, dependable income, of integrity. So similarly, you can perhaps do that as well for yourself. So please, think about where your life is, and think about doing what I'm saying. Do that for yourself. Do that, because if you don't, then you're only your worst enemy. Our subconscious minds are designed to keep us back. We need to train our subconscious mind to not keep us back. We need to tell it what to do. Otherwise, it will do anything. It will just do silly things over and over again. But we need to tell it not to do those silly things over and over again. So the only way that's going to happen is when you take control and take charge of your life. So take charge of your life and start doing the robotic affirmation. Start doing it, and things will start to change for you. Okay? And I think I've said enough. If you're not sure of something, I am more than happy to help you. I am here. I'm happy to help you. I've got absolutely no problem to help you to succeed. And I just want you to reach out to me if you need assistance. And you should never ever sleep with anger in your mind, or with sadness, or with depression. Before you go to bed at night, I want you to close your eyes and believe that you have received what you desire. Like if it's $100,000 salary a month, you're now receiving $100,000 salary a month. Now what you say to yourself? You say to yourself, how would I feel once I receive now that I'm receiving $100,000 a month? How would I feel? How would I behave? What clothes would I wear? What car would I be driving? I want you to think that thought every night before you sleep. And when you think that thought every night before you sleep, that will help you. That will help you because that'll generate pictures in your mind. And our subconscious speaks in pictures and speaks in feeling. Okay? Let me say that again. Our subconscious speaks in pictures and speaks in feeling. How would you feel? How would you feel if you were earning $100,000 a month? What would be your feeling? What would be your feeling is what you need to decide. And once you've decided it, and now you're in a position to become the man that you want to be, okay, or the woman that you want to be. So with that, I want you to have a wonderful Sabbath. I want you to have a wonderful week ahead. We've kind of gone on a little bit today, but that's okay. It's all for the benefit of the people here, my students. Have a wonderful Sabbath, wonderful week ahead, and may the Lord of hosts, may the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, may He bless you, may He keep you safe, and may He protect you as you go along your way. Have a wonderful Sabbath, Shabbat Shalom, and a wonderful week. Shalom, Shalom.